Hi everyone, it's Christopher, Mono County Library Director and co-host of the Oxygen Starved podcast. It's Book Talk Friday again, and here I am with two library books for you to check out, one new and one old. Now I'm going to start with the old. Lolita by Russian-American author Vladimir Nabokov. Published in 1955, it's considered a classic, not just because of Nabokov's writing skills, but because of its controversial plotline. An aging professor who becomes obsessed with and falls in love with a 12-year-old girl, Dolores, who he nicknames Lolita. It actually starts with a foreword from the voice of another character reporting the death of the author of the memoir while in jail awaiting a murder trial. The rest of the novel is the supposed memoir of that professor and his eventual obsession with Lolita. Now, obviously, it was controversial at the time. No American publisher in 1955 would touch it, and Nabokov had the first edition published in France. It didn't come out in the US until 1958, when it was a bestseller, and it's been controversial ever since with each new generation, as interpretation walks a fine line between a severely uncomfortable plot setup and what's described as a sincere meditation on love. And I'm going to make a confession here. I've never read it. I've never wanted to, and I probably never will. It's not that I shy away from challenging plots or classic works of literature. I actually enjoy them. It's just that I have zero interest in reading about a middle-aged man's obsession with a 12-year-old girl. And I'm okay with that because there are enough other great books out there to catch my attention, including the one I'm using Lolita to connect to today. And that is Vladimir, a first novel by Julia May Jonas that came out to great reviews earlier this year. As you would suspect by the title, it draws allusions from Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita. A married couple of college literature professors in their late 50s are grappling with post-Me Too era consequences of their open relationship. The husband is subject to a campus investigation for having had numerous sexual affairs with much younger female students over the years. And she develops an unnatural obsession with a younger, good-looking professor named Vladimir, who has just joined the faculty along with his young spouse. The novel is written entirely from her perspective, and like Lolita, even starts with a prologue in which you get your first glimpse into her psyche as she casually points out she is watching Vladimir sleep as she writes, his hand handcuffed to a chair. Then the novel kicks off like wildfire. She is a 50-year-old woman, never named in the book, who has had sexual obsessions before, but is realizing that both her age and the new social norms of life that replace the free love and experimentation of her youth have her at an inflection point. Her marriage isn't on the rocks necessarily. She and her husband just have an understanding, and while she's disappointed and frankly just often uninterested in him, she's equally resentful and slightly repulsed by the young women who came forward to accuse him of what was clearly predatory behavior. What makes this book work so well is that Jonas captures that insular hotbed of academic behavior and controversy perfectly. That tension professors of their age have to navigate as they traverse from that starting era when the swinging 70s or gluttonous 80s when they started their careers to a new, more stringent, rigid, almost puritanical academic environment. The narrator posits that what is gained from the new awareness and correctness means that perhaps today's young people may be missing out on genuine, uninhibited fun. Jonas has also given this narrator a sonorous and engaging voice. This professor's observation and wit is deep and razor sharp and suffers no fools. So while comparisons to Lolita are obvious, to me a sharper comparison would be Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? That play about a middle-aged couple's disillusionment bursting viciously out into the open when confronted with a younger, newly married academic couple arriving on campus. If we actually had a copy of that play in the collection, I would have led with it rather than Lolita, frankly. And I will also confess, I initially put off reading Vladimir because of the Lolita connection, but I'm glad I picked it up. It is sharp, witty, sexy, provocative fun that one review says upends assumptions about gender, power, and shame. This is Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. This, of course, is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. Two great books you can find in Mono County libraries. Come in and grab these or another great read. In the meantime, stay safe and happy reading.